So today we're going to talk about teams. We're going to talk about how to get the best from your teams for you and your business. And we're going to start with the 4 most important things that you can think about from a team point of view. And they are as follows: consensus, we'll come back to this, communication, clarity, and those 3 things equal motivation. So remember, the 3 C's are the most important. There is a 4th C, of course, which is culture. Consensus, culture, clarity, communication. And those are all the important things that you need to worry about on a day-to-day basis for your team. What does team stand for is a question that I often pose to people. Team stands for together everyone achieves more. Sounds corny, I know, but it is the most important thing, to get your team all focused on the same destination, to get them all operating in the same way, thinking in the same way, understanding what their role is and how to help you move the business forwards. So there are 4 follow-up rules that you need to remember. And the 4 follow-up rules, or rules of engagement as I call them, are as follows. You've got KPIs and accountability, you've got systemization, you've got attitude. Don't forget that attitude over aptitude determines your altitude. Hire the right people with the right mental focus, with the right philosophy of life, for want of a better description, and they will bring you better results. So one of the questions that we often ask from a coaching point of view is, how do you see yourself? How do you see yourself and how do you see others? And it's really important to think about the way that you view other people in, I'll call it the battle of life, right? How do you perceive yourself in terms of the way that you progress your business? And so there are a number of things to think about here. I'm going to draw you a little picture just to make it really, really clear. So we'll have high, low, and high. And this is how you see yourself. And this is how you see others. Okay, nice simple diagram. So in a situation where your self-respect and your opinion of others is relatively poor, you operate typically on what I'll call a lose-lose basis. What we want to be doing is operating on a win-win basis. And of course, if your self-respect is high, but your respect for others is low, you're going to be operating on a win-lose basis. And if your respect for yourself is low and for others is high, you're going to be operating on a lose-win basis. Where do we want to be? We want to be up here. And why do we want to be up there? Because if others in your business are focused on winning and you're focused on them winning, you're going to drive a much more profitable and high growth business. So that we refer to as living styles. So the next question I often ask is, where are you in your business? Are you comfortable? Are you driven? Are you motivated? Are you happy? All of the above are really, really important. Somebody said to me once upon a time that if you want to be a millionaire, that what you need to do is to mix with millionaires. If you want to be successful, mix with successful people. If you want to grow your business rapidly, bring in high-performing people that you know can do their job really well, that you don't have to hold their hands, you point them in the right direction, and you give them accountability, and off they go and do their job on a day-to-day basis. So there's a great guy out there called Jim Rohn. If you've never heard of Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, you need to be reading his books and listening to his videos on YouTube. Lots of fantastic stuff in there. And he tells a little story about how he met a guy called Earl Shoaff when he was in his 20s. He only knew him for 5 years before this gentleman died, but during that period he learned so many great things from this guy that it changed his outlook on life. And one of the things that Earl Shoaff said to him, and I'll use this a lot with business owners that are struggling, is I can probably tell you, based on who you know, what you do on a day-to-day basis, and your outlook on life, exactly how much money is in your bank account. And as soon as he understood that, he was able to reposition himself, look at life differently, think about himself differently, and think about his team differently. And off you go. So remember, everything that you have learnt in your past, all of your experiences, every bit of education that you've been to, whether you went to school or university or did your A-levels or did an HND post school or anything else, all of those things dictate how good you are at the things that you do. Now, I'm not taking away the fact that independently you might have a very creative or curious attitude, but remember, everything that you've done in the past dictates how good you are at what you do. And so one of my favourite questions with a coaching client is, who runs your sales for your organisation? Oh, I do. Okay, and when did you last do a sales training course? Oh, I've never done that. I'm a natural salesperson. I can guarantee you that not going through sales training is going to have an impact on your ability to perform. So I'm going to recruit somebody to run marketing for my business. It happens to be my wife's brother's sister's best friend. Highly recommended. Done a little bit of social media, and therefore they're going to run the marketing for my business. Do you think that's the best possible hiring decision you could make for your business? The answer typically is no. Hire a marketeer with some expertise who knows what they're doing, that you can point in the right direction, and off they jolly well go. So a moment or two ago I mentioned comfort zone, and the comfort zone is an interesting place to live. So if you have reached the stage in your business where you're living in your comfort zone, things work, orders come in, money hits your bank account, and you're okay, the people in your business are okay, then you are living in a place where nothing grows. And so the difference between your comfort zone and your goal, your ultimate goal, is huge. And how do you get from your comfort zone to your goal? So here is my comfort zone, CZ for short. Here is my goal. It's a big goal. It's a big, hairy, audacious goal, or a BHAG, as I like to call it. How do I get from my comfort zone to my BHAG, is the question. And the answer is, if you're the salesperson in charge of your business and you've not done a sales training course, do that course. Read a book. Better still, read a book a week. Watch some videos. Listen to some podcasts. Engage with people who circulate in an area where you want to be skillful, recognized, acknowledged, or developed. And eventually, through adding all of these skills, through being more than you are today, you will reach your big, hairy, audacious goal. Without that learning, this is learning. Oops. Without that learning, that education, that growth, you are never going to reach your big, hairy, audacious goal. So, if you live in your comfort zone, remember, nothing grows in the comfort zone.